we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap whiles any speaks that supported us at the Goblins and Growlers Patreon at patreon.com/goblinsgrowlers.
So, what happened was you guys retrieved the relic of silver, reunited with Alita.
Yep.
And as your plan was to escape the dungeon, you began hearing the sounds of coin in the walls.
Right. But the whole time, Solinar was paranoia, everybody's coming to get me. Just say you never met me. I'm running underground with the moles, digging holes.
That's right.
That's my go-to karaoke song, honestly.
This is Quid Pro Roll, a fantasy live play adventure where a party of unlikely heroes embark on a quest to bring dragons back to their world.
Well, howdy, listeners. Welcome to the Daily Crier Listening Show, where all the news and variant and beyond can make its way, well, right to you. So, party made quick work of the ocean and sky puzzle, placing pieces of mirror down for reflection. However, suddenly sinking beneath the waves was not what they expected. However, soon after this sinking feeling subsides, they appear in a room with great metal statues of dragons, who summon more statues, and a mirror to reflect the reality? A bright light beamed down and chromatic dragons in place of the metallic. Well, Johannes uses his remaining shield to reflect the unseen light, and it spreads to the other dragons, revealing the grand hall with the relic of silver still in its place. Understandably suspicious, the party takes the relic and prepares for battle. That doesn't seem to come. Eventually, Johannes takes off running to find Alita, and once the party gathers in the crystal ritual room, they begin hearing coins slinking through the walls. Now, listeners, what you see in the mirror, no, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't want to ruin the surprise. And as always, y'all take care now.
You had retrieved the relic of silver, the fourth of 5 that you need to collect for the ritual to bring back the metallic dragons to the world. You, however, are still trapped in the mirrorlicious, incredibly magical, and vaguely sinister Temple of the Silver Dragons. And the monsters that you have sidestepped and literally yanked yourself from the jaws of, in the case of Solinar, you've been hearing sounds, both in the distance and in the walls.
I'm really excited for the Black Eyed Peas track that we're going to have recorded for the Silver Temple arc called Mirrorlicious. I think it's going to be good.
I just want to see Fergie cartwheeling while saying Mirrorlicious.
I knew it. I knew it couldn't be this easy. I knew that there would be something. They're coming for us. They're coming for us, probably through the walls. I'll kill them all.
Look, just don't make eye contact with anybody and let's just head for the exit. Just calmly and deliberately.
Don't make eye contact. What do you think is coming for us? What's coming for us is one of those shrieking guardian things, and additionally, the large pile of treasure that almost ate me.
Act natural. I got it. Pretend you're the mirror you, and they'll never notice.
This feels like a gamble.
Is he the mirror him?
Maybe. How should I know? Boat says sort of loudly to no one in particular. It's like, any of us could be the evil mirror versions of each other.
It's impossible to know.
As you say that, your voice echoes, and then midway through one of the echoes, it stops. Almost as if you went from being in this large echoey hall to this very soundproofed room.
Somebody put up some foam panels? What happened there?
It happened like right smack in the middle of what you were saying. So it went from echo, echo, echo.
Nope. I don't like it. And I don't like the implication. I'm going to assume that all of us are us until one of us starts acting like not us. Because otherwise, I will lose my mind in this dungeon.
But I'm starting to think that maybe I'm not me. Like, what's something that I would know that I wouldn't know if I was a mirror?
Johannes, what's the best skincare routine?
See, that's what I thought immediately, too. Because, of course, you're going to use Korean beauty products, which is probably a brand. But Mirror Me had great skin, so there's no way that Mirror Me wouldn't know that. And if I was thinking about myself, because I was the Mirror Me, which I might be, I don't know yet, then I also had great skin, which means that I must know that.
So would you say that the mirror you, Johannes, had glass skin?
Smooth as glass, just like my skin. My skin's smooth as glass.
Enjoy that fun beauty product joke. 3 people who listen to this show that would find that funny.
It'll be
Hell
more than 3.
yeah. While all this is going on, you can see Boat rummaging through his pack.
All right. Again, the sounds that all of you are making are completely padded out and muffled, but I'm interested in what you are scrounging for.
Boat has looked at his pack to try to find some sort of item to do some sort of marking on himself. Looks like, left over from the clown costume. He's got a little tiny little makeup kit. And so you can't see what he's doing, but he's reaching down in the bag and he's getting some stuff on his fingers and you can see his hands rubbing on his face and everything like that. And he turns around and you see that Boat is now sporting a, as convincing as it can be, goatee and mustache.
Oh my god!
And he's also, since he had a little bit extra, he's drawn some angry eyebrows on his head. So, I am evil Mirror Boat. I am Rorim Taob.
I think that...
I'm sorry, what was that name again?
Rorim Taob.
I think you're just describing a character from SpongeBob.
I am excited for this Star Trek episode.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you appeared to yourself in the mirror?
I'm evil.
We know. That's not what he was asking about, though.
I appeared to myself in the mirror as a clean-shaven good guy because I'm Evil Boat from the mirror.
Wait, is this part of like a disguise thing? Or are you actually evil? Because I'll stab you. I'll stab you so hard.
I feel
No,
like...
you won't.
I might.
There's always a chance I could be the good Boat, but you wouldn't want to take that chance because you're inherently good.
I might be flexible.
Yeah, I don't know about any of this.
Okay, well, since we can't figure this out, I know what we can figure out, and it's how to get out of here. And if we do that, then maybe we can find other mirrors and figure out if we're mirror selves at that point in time. But until then, I got no capacity for this because there's screaming walls that we got to deal with. Come on, team.
You're right. If we're mirror selves, they won't let us out of the dungeon, and then we'll know for sure.
We'll get stopped by our own reflection of ourselves. Because I would stop me if Mirror Me was trying to get out and pretend to be me.
Exactly. Okay.
Felix, who had previously been resting on Boat's shoulder, makes a little sound and hops off, beginning to bound down the hallway.
Oh, he fears the evil Boat.
I'm following Felix.
Follow that pseudo-dragon.
All right. So Felix begins to loop around the halls, and as you are traveling, following him, something seems, as it often has in this temple, wrong. You should have gone through, based off of where you remembered being, there should have been a mirror maze. There should have been that hall, there should have been quite a few things that just aren't there. What you do notice as you begin going down the hallway, Felix turns, you follow him, only to see a hallway that stretches out far beyond your ability to see the end of it. And as you go down this hallway, you notice color in the floors, in the walls, and in the ceiling beginning to shift and change. Places that were previously shadowy shades of gray are starting to melt into gold and teal and pink. Bits of brown that were part of wood paneling are beginning to melt into greens and reds. It's all starting to, for lack of a better term, because everything is keeping its shape, but it feels like things are melting around you.
Well, I'm starting to believe more and more that maybe we are mirror selves, because I'm experiencing things that I've never experienced in my whole unmirrored life. But in my mirrored life, maybe I've experienced this a bunch.
Is it like a liquid melt? Like if I'm going to reach out and touch one of the surfaces that appears to be melting.
Is it T1000?
As you touch the surface, the shape of the wall and the feeling of it is unyielding. It is still a wall. It is still what you expect to feel. It's that the color, not inside it, but the color that it is warping.
Johannes, let me see the relic.
Oh, here you go. But you better not be a mirror, or I swear I'm gonna maybe let you keep the relic because I'm a mirror, and or take it away from you because I'm not.
Any one of us could be mirrors.
Oh.
It's almost impossible to say at this point. Solinar wants to check the relic to see if he can determine that it is in fact the real relic.
What are you searching for?
He's handled previous relics, so he knows that there's like a magical property to it. He knows that it gives the holder some sort of benefit, typically.
Yes.
And he's sort of generally familiar with the shape, structure, and behavior of previous relics.
You are feeling everything that you remember. It, as far as how it feels, the energy it radiates, the peace and wisdom that you feel settling into you, flowing out from where it touches your skin, is all there. I would if you want, you can roll an Arcana or a religion check. But for all intents and purposes, it does appear correct.
Got a 14 on Arcana. It's not great, but...
As far as you know, this should be the correct item.
Okay. This looks like the real relic, and it feels like the real relic. But I don't know, things have been weird ever since we picked it up.
I've got an idea.
Yes.
I licked it.
Johannes!
Does it taste like the real relic?
It tastes like slightly dusty metal.
Does it taste like silver or the opposite of silver?
What is the opposite of silver?
It's
Revless.
Revless. Yes, the well-known metal of Revless.
My instinct was to say gold because I always say that salt is the opposite of sugar. And it just seems like it fits.
Not
Silver
all
bean.
that glimmers is gold, Boat.
Evil boat.
Wait, is salt being the opposite of sugar like a sincere opinion or just like a thing you say?
It's one of those things that I've said many times without thinking, and somebody calls me on it and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, but like they're both the same, but exactly the opposite. Like if I want something sweet, I eat sugar. If I want something not sweet, I'll eat salt? ? It just seems normal.
I guess if the concept is that they are parallel but opposite, then that sort of makes sense. Where it's
because you can't say salt and pepper because they're complementary.
Yeah, and that's why they're such a good act.
Yeah, but so is like sweet and salty as a combination of flavors.
That depends. Like, we're not always talking about taffy here.
Well, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. You've had different taffy than I have.
Saltwater taffy.
Is saltwater taffy actually salty?
It's got salt in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do cookies. That doesn't make them salty.
But it's like sea salt caramel.
Guys,
It's
we
the
are
same
losing
basic
we are
concept.
losing the plot. Weird
No,
things are
this is a
happening
very
and
important discussion.
someone just licked a holy relic. Which is a sentence I'm not entirely certain how to process.
Wait, I just heard the I think Soon has let me know that this is a holy relic.
So did he lick the relic? It was a relic.
Yeah.
Go directly to jail.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this.
You want to roll a religion or arcana check?
Yeah,
Roll
yeah.
for lick.
It's a rollicking good time.
How about a 10?
For all you can tell, this is the relic of the silver dragons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. I could taste it.
Yeah, that's kind of the read I'm getting as well. Maybe this is like a big elaborate trap where we've taken the relic and now the trap is activated and it's trying to contain us within the temple, and so we got to keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds right.
Solinar passes the relic back to Johannes and then continues moving.
Maybe we should let me hold the relic.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. You're not.
Wait.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Wait
a
hold on.
minute.
Can I roll an insight on Alita?
Yeah.
I think did I roll an insight on Alita previously? Might have. Doesn't matter. I'm doing it again.
I think we can all agree that mirror self or real self, Johannes would be the least capable of deceiving the group.
Much like I suspect the nature of Alita is right now, the nature of this 20 is unnatural.
Alita seems kind of confused, but you get the impression that she's more interested in preventing the sacrilegious treatment of the relic of the specific kind of dragon that she herself is a priestess of. Probably going to be a little more protective of the silver relic than the others.
I can keep licking it if I need to.
That's probably
I think it's okay if Alita holds it.
Thank you, Koza.
Solinar gets shifty-eyed.
I don't think Solinar's wrong, though. I imagine if we want to leave, there's probably another test. This temple hasn't been like the others. I don't think there's a corruption here we're having to overtake. I think we're having to overtake the temple itself.
What does that mean?
None of this in the first temple we went through, it was clear that it had been broken into and everybody had been destroyed and it had been physically destroyed. And monsters had taken up home in it. Same with the temple after that. The temple for Talair seemed very empty, but mostly a lot of the issues that we ran into were something that had gotten in. The only things that we've had to fight so far have been things that were part of the temple itself.
Are you telling me that the screaming worm monsters were put here on purpose?
They're temple guardians. Johannes told us about that. He did research on them.
Yeah, I took a dungeon delving and holy places class, which is very helpful.
It's a 301
Okay,
class.
but
Yeah.
were those just around whenever the temple was active or used, or I don't know what the term would be?
I don't know. I wasn't around then. But if you look, a lot of the art and the reliefs in some of the rooms have looked like the temple guardians. Which leads to a concerning idea that maybe those statues are dormant temple guardians, which I don't want to think too hard about.
I don't want to think too much
If
about
those
that.
are dormant temple guardians, then what's that? And Johannes points to an entire melting wall.
I'm not sure, though, but I'm still thinking this might be a temple thing.
As you're looking at the wall, you notice Boat standing with his back to it, with his left leg bent and his foot resting up against the wall, and he's menacingly flipping a coin as you all have this discussion.
Okay, so Boat is now a 1920s film noir gangster.
And he's also going,
Yeah, see? Yeah.
This is getting a little ridiculous, Boat.
we're in a building full of melting walls. I don't really see where you get off saying that this is ridiculous. I'm evil, by the way.
No, we got that already.
Yeah, we know. We've been traveling with you for a while.
Uh-huh. You were traveling with Good Boat.
Oh my gods, that's the good one?
Mm-hmm.
We gotta keep moving. Who knows if the walls are actually melting or if it's just a perception thing. If they're actually melting, we're losing precious time.
I also want to be very clear. The physical walls don't look like they're melting. It's the color of them that seems to be melting and warping.
I
don't mean the color's melting. I'm not really sure I understand. Like, let me describe what I think you're saying, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. But let's imagine a band of several colors in the wall. Are they just sort of dripping down as though they were thrown onto the wall, and it's like sort of like chocolate or syrup or something dripping down the wall, like each color is melting down into the next?
It's more like you are doing a digital art thing and you're taking that swirly tool that sort of takes and twists everything around, but not so far that it's mixing.
Okay. So it's just moving the boundaries between colors or something, but not mixing them?
More or less.
Okay.
All I know is that those walls look goopy, and that means bad things.
Goopy equals bad. The well-known adventurer's tenet.
And if walls are looking goopy, that cannot be a good sign.
If walls are looking goopy,
it's worse than spoopy.
Your experience is about to get poopy.
That being said, it's very clear that the hallway that you're going down isn't how you guys came in. And by all intents and purposes, should be impossible geometrically.
I hope at the end of this we fight a Scooby-Doo villain called the Goopy Groupie.
Ew, no. That sounds more like a mascot character.
Wait, what did you say? What did you say the name of this guy is again?
The Goopy Groupie.
I'm the Goopy Groupie.
At the end of the episode, we just kind of find out it was Old Man Carruthers trying to scare the local kids away so he could tear down the youth center.
He just wanted to get rid of the bowling alley.
And he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids and evil Boat. As you're traveling down the hallway, some of you a little bit more quickly than others, your footsteps do not echo. They hit and the sound is immediately dampened. There is no echo in this place, almost as if the air is condensed. It feels claustrophobic, which combined with the visuals of the room getting more and more warped is starting to make you feel unsettled, is probably a light way of putting it, but definitely that category. Felix, however, doesn't seem alarmed.
I'm gonna take my staff and cast Speak with Animals.
Does that work on Felix?
I don't know. You tell me.
Hold
Your
on.
world, Alex.
What is the mechanics of Speak with Animals? What is a pseudo-dragon?
Google. Is a pseudo-dragon an animal?
He's a dragon. It's a tiny dragon.
Are dragons considered beasts?
It doesn't work on dragons, according to this.
Yeah, does it sort of work on a pseudo-dragon?
It sort of work as a pseudo-dragon's only sort of a dragon.
Has Felix been hitting the gym?
Yeah.
Is he a bit of a beast?
These are all very important world-building questions.
Yeah, dragons are sapient creatures, more so than I think any animal would be. I don't know that Speak with Animals would be the ticket for this guy.
So you'd need draconic language to speak with Felix, which means Alita can speak with Felix. Let's go!
Do you think that draconic sounds like because I have questions about how scary the dragons actually are if that's the case.
Now hold on. Consider but 1,000 times larger and deeper.
Yeah, I got this.
That sounds like a dragon to me. That's dragon noises.
I actually spoke some Draconic there.
Way to go, Alon.
Thank you.
Multilingual king. Regardless, it does not look like Speak with Animals is going to work.
Damn.
You can roll insight on him if you'd like.
I mean, because what I'm seeing is that he's unbothered, right?
He is very unbothered.
In his element, he's
moisturized in his own lane.
Yep. Whereas I'm gonna kind of try to let him take the lead and see where he goes.
He's gonna continue bounding down the hallway, which is singular and really the only direction you can go.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna follow.
He's going to slow down a little bit to a trot, and he keeps kind of like looking behind him to make sure you guys are following.
I'm following, buddy. Don't worry.
Solinar's going to keep following, but he's going to drop into stealth, which I'm going to roll at disadvantage because he can't hear his footfalls to determine that he is properly silencing them.
True.
So he's like trying to adjust stance and things like that, but he's mostly stealthing on instinct as opposed to actual outcome.
So you've stealthed into the space, at least as far as you're aware.
Right.
And you continue down this singular hallway, eventually finding yourself in a wide circular room. While the area is muted, you can hear the sound of jingling coins getting closer and closer, and you can feel something else coming towards you. In the distance, you can hear a scream, a familiar one. You remember the sound of the Temple Guardians, and you can feel that they are closing into this space.
Koza's gonna take out his coin purse and jangle it a little bit, and then in front, and then like give a little thumbs up, thumbs down to Felix.
Felix is going to look, and you see him look kind of nervous, his eyes darting around. The nonchalant look from earlier has sort of faded, but he doesn't seem panicked. He seems nervous.
Okay, Koza kind of shrugs and continues to follow Felix.
Felix has walked to a part of the room and sat down, his tail wrapped around his feet like a cat.
Wait, are we no longer in the long hallway?
You're now in a large circular room.
Okay.
The color effect of the hallway has completely taken over this space, and you don't remember any room like it as you passed through the temple. As you look, Koza, you'll notice it doesn't appear that there are any doors either.
Is there any furniture?
Nothing. It's almost like one enormous circular ballroom. The colors of the floor and the walls melting and shifting one into the next in such a way that only shadows and light tell you where the walls end and the floor begins. It's a little nauseating, to be honest.
Solinar's like trying to pop his ears as if it's like a elevation change that's making everything so muffled. So he's just like shifting his jaw and breathing and yawning and just like kind of wiggling his ear a little bit.
Doesn't seem to have any effect, because it's not that the altitude is changing, it's that the air itself is.
Can I roll survival or nature or something like that to determine this? It's starting to sound like maybe there's less of something in the air that would normally be present that is causing things to sound different. Like maybe the air is heavier for some reason with a richer concentration of something like carbon dioxide. I don't I don't know the science behind how this
Do you think
works,
I'm
but
trying to poison the party and that's how I'm attempting to end this show?
Are you suffocating us right now? Should we have brought a canary with us to indicate that we've gone too deep into this mine?
That sounds monstrous and I love it, but you're welcome to roll.
What would you like?
Survival.
Okay, that's a 13.
You can still breathe. The difficulty feels more like your chest is tight rather than the air itself is a problem. It's the sound that's making everything feel claustrophobic, or more accurately, the diminishing of the sound.
Does Boat look like he's had this feeling before?
I don't know, does he?
No, he looks like he knows absolutely what's going on. He's playing it so cool over here.
Okay, so he's familiar with the feeling of having a heart attack.
I mean, he does eat a lot of ham.
As you...
Is it a pressure thing? Is it like when you go swimming and you go greater than 6 feet underwater and it suddenly feels like everything's kind of crushing in on you a little bit?
We've got the bends.
I mean, not quite that, but...
The magical bends. Not quite, but it's not so dissimilar that the comparison is completely off base. As you step more into the room, or in Solinar's case, awkwardly shuffling around trying to be stealthy, you notice that the floor ripples as you step in it. Not physically, nothing shifts or moves, but the color moves as if you've dropped a rock in a pond with each step you take.
Solinar pulls a ball bearing out of his pouch of ball bearings and yeets it into the room.
You can hear one soft and suppressed as it hits the far wall, and you can see a beautiful radiating ripples coming out in the color. And as the ball bearing rolls, you see in the corners and spaces of the room gold, where you're sure it wasn't before. You can hear in the walls a sound of jingling.
Solinar moves away from the walls.
As you step, when you take your eyes off one part of the room, you look, obviously, to another. As you look back, the gold has seemingly increased.
Do you point it out to anybody else?
I think Solinar is kind of looking anxious is probably the right word, and then kind of pointing his weapon at different parts of the wall, and then he sort of like scoots away from the wall, and he goes, "It's here."
Do any of us see the little bit of gold?
All of you see the gold.
Okay.
And as you look away and look back, it seems to be increasing.
You're right, Solinar. Financial dependency.
Did the gold almost kill us last time?
It almost killed Solinar.
The gold was in the process of consuming Solinar when Johannes pulled him out.
Okay.
I grabbed his boots by the bootstraps and I removed him from the gold.
Johannes is really good at picking people up by their bootstraps.
Mm-hmm.
Koza's going to gently touch the gold, like poke at the gold with his staff.
As you touch the gold with your staff, itself ripples, the coins spreading out and out as if they are coming out, being fed through a fountain. In the distance, you can hear coming closer and closer and closer, not one, not two, but 3 shrieks. The gold begins to pulsate and shift, moving quickly, unnaturally quickly, as if some great invisible arms are dragging across the floor to gather it into a single pile. The gold begins to stack itself into this enormous treasure hoard, and you see through 3 of the walls a face, and a face, Each of them, unfortunately, very familiar. 3 spectral temple guardians come out of the walls, twisting around each other like some horrible double helix. They 3 wrap together and scream at the ceiling before turning and diving into the pile of gold. The gold itself begins to shift and move, and the 3 spirit guardians reach their heads out from the center pile, becoming the final trial of this temple, the Guardian Hydra.
Praise be. Once there was a silence, a void so full of nothingness. Yes, the silence. It consumed like a mighty maw, hungry. But then a voice came, and another, that pierced the silence. The voices that bring laughter and wonder, magic and mystery. Yes. But these voices, they could only fight the silence, hold back the great nothing. Yes, but with the support of our divine beings, angels and celestials, too radiant to behold, and too glorious not. We give thanks to our patrons, our shiny protectors, Whitney Zahar, Tony Oliveto, Joseph Maltby, Andrew Wheeler, Breck O'Donnell, Brianna Beebe. Without your support, these heavenly voices would be lost in the silence, and woe would be unto us all. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Does clapping hurt anybody else's hands, or is it just me?
I think you're doing it too hard.
Alex, you can't
Only if
do
you're
it
doing
with
it right.
You can't do it with those bitch hands.
I'm very delicate.
Your hands are too thick. That's why they clap so loud.
No.
Anyway,
the sound of my dummy thick hands is just not sexy.